I thought yesterday was a day of aces, but I think you found some, if not A's, maybe one A's out there that you might like today in the getaway days.
Yeah, and we still have some weather to deal with in a couple of these getaway day specials. First and foremost, if you're headed to PNC Park this afternoon, bundle up. Same in downtown Cleveland. Right now, Dave, we're at 27 degrees. Remember, they moved first pitch yesterday from 6:10 to 1:10. This is an originally scheduled 1:10 Eastern first pitch for the Royals and the Guardians. I will give Carter Jensen a pass because his namesake allows him the pass there. Lone home run in the Royals-Guardians game that defeated our no home run play in that one. However, a couple of good matchups here today. It'll be Cole Reagans, their ace for Kansas City, against Joey Cantillo for the Cleveland Guardians. That one, 1:10 Eastern, first pitch. It's going to be cool. I'm not going to play the no home run in that one. You could, if you wanted, in San Diego and the Pittsburgh game, 12:35 p.m. Eastern, Michael King and Mitch Keller. Some good run suppression there. I just think again, check the weather. A great friend of the program, Kevin Roth, who does a fabulous job at Prop Finder. He gives a lot of the forecasts for games, and especially the ones that are going to be in cooler temperatures. I'll come up with that in just a moment. But the third one, obviously, is Dodgers Blue Jays. Dodgers going for the sweep. Shohei Ohtani back on the bump here against Dylan Cease for Toronto. So it's just some featured getaway day specials and some that you might be able to target a few unders on as well.
Yeah, you were all over those unders yesterday. Great call. Looking at the weather, the changing of the times for the reasons that they did. I'm looking at the Dodger game at 7.5 here with Dylan Cease, and the game did stay under yesterday with Yamamoto against Gausman. Would you expect the same type of game? Like if you were to play it, you would look to that under. It's minus $1.02. It's actually juiced to the over just a little bit right now on DraftKings at $1.18.
Yeah, as I check some of the advanced numbers here, if I'm looking to unders early, to be honest, Dave, you could see some overs here. Maybe in the Baltimore and Chicago game, as I'm looking at some of the numbers here. If I'm going to go for early action, I would say Baltimore, Chicago feels just a little bit more like a place you would want to attack, just knowing it's Sean Burke there for the White Sox. Kyle Bradish, though, for Baltimore. So obviously lean Baltimore in that one. Heck, I might even get to the window here on an alternate line, Orioles -1. So double check some lineups here as they become available, but stay tuned. VSiN.com. If you're a pro subscriber, you'll get those plays. I do like an over. You mentioned Blue Jays and Dodgers. Hard to get in front of that train right now. That is LA. So I could see probably the LA offense continuing what they've done. So I'm aligning with you there. If I'm looking for overs in the early window, Dave, I would say that it's Baltimore and Chicago and probably the Dodgers and the Blue Jays too.
Speaking of getting some runs out there during the day on these getaway days specials here on a lot of Wednesdays in Major League Baseball season, some guys that have a penchant for going yard on getaway day. Who do you like?
Last year, Dave, these are 2025 regular season day game home run leaders. Amongst them, they're going to be in the same game. George Springer had 14 dingers on day games last year. Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani on the other side, 12 apiece. Again, so I know the pitching is elite, but you could see some elevation there from both lineups. Wilyer Abreu of the Boston Red Sox. Again, their series finale against the Brewers, they're going to try and avoid the sweep. They're going to try and win that series as they won yesterday with Garrett Crochet on the mound. That's Sonny Gray against Shane Drowan for the Milwaukee Brewers, 1:35 p.m. Eastern. So Wilyer Abreu might be a candidate for you. Kyle Manzardo. Now, I'm not going to advocate left on left here with Cole Reagans going for the Royals, but just some numbers for you to keep in mind. Now, yesterday, we hit one of the three no home run props. We hit it in that Minnesota and that Detroit game at plus 425. Dave, I think grand total of maybe 3 feet costing us a 112-1 ticket yesterday. Gunnar Henderson barely gets the homer in the 8th inning in the south side of Chicago. And then, as I said, Carter Jensen, the homer, a line drive homer for the Royals yesterday. That was the only hit for the Royals, the only one. So we were about 3 feet away from a 4-digit payday. We're going to go back to the well here. It's a quarter unit play. And again, shout out to Kevin Roth, does a great job at Prop Finder, giving the forecast for some of these games. We're going to take a no homer in Milwaukee and Boston. We're going to parlay it. We're going to go right back to the well with Baltimore and Chicago. Now we're going to drop it down to a quarter unit. That is going to be just south of 30-1. For those that don't know where to find it, Dave, on DraftKings, select the specific game you want to go in, scroll to the tab that says first of game, and then you'll find it there. I did see some people, Dave, for what it's worth, they did play the under 1.5 homers in the game just to give a little wiggle room there. So if you're going to parlay, may not be a bad idea. We're just going to knock down the units from a half to a quarter, just one no home run parlay today. So we'll do a 2-legger there. No home run for Brewers, Red Sox, no homer for Orioles and White Sox.
Yeah, finally a win for the Red Sox yesterday. Boy, do they need it. You talk about matchups. Ronaldo Lopez does not want to match up with Jorge Soler, whether that's pitching and or punching. So you've found some other guys that you think maybe match up pretty well, pitcher versus hitter and vice versa.
The Detroit Tigers had Tarek Skubal on the mound yesterday. Didn't matter. Minnesota Twins, as you like to say, go, whoosh, thanks for coming out. Knocked him out in the middle innings there en route to a victory. So congratulations to the Twins. Flip side to here, Dave, this matchup, and again, it'll be later on tonight. It will be the Twins and the Tigers. That at 7:40 Eastern. Last game on the docket, Framber Valdez against Bailey Ober. Let's target for you daily fantasy players. If you want to stack some hitters, really like the matchups here for the Detroit side. Kevin McGonigal, Riley Green, couple left-handed bats. Dylan Dingler, who's been swinging it really well, catcher there for Detroit. So 3 guys you might want to target and stack in your DFS lineups. Same thing as we just talked about. We like the over in the Dodgers and the Blue Jays game. Let's target a couple of bats here that are rolling as well against Dylan Cease. Teoscar Hernandez profiles really well as Andy Pages, who's about as hot as anyone out of the gates. And Kyle Tucker, sneaky good matchup for him from the metric standpoint. So again, 3 hitters from those respective teams' lineups, Dave, that you could put in as you're starting to build some of those daily fantasy stacks for today's slate.
I think you have up for early bad beat of the year yesterday down there in South Beach when you had Sandy Day on the bump here for the Marlins. 2-0 lead in the 9th inning. He gives up a 1-out double, and then he gets the hook. And apparently, Jensen, he was not very pleased about that after the game. It's games like that for the Marlins sitting at 6-5. And then the Reds, by the way, if you had the under in that game, it's 2-0 at that point, ends up 6-3 once they go to extras. A terrible beat there. What do you make of that as a reliever? I know you want to go in there and close it out, but if you're Sandy and you're like, my pitch count's low, I've already had a complete game this year. Why are you pulling me out with 1 out in the 9th?
I didn't understand it either. And it ends up costing Clayton McCullough and that group a loss in extra innings. So if you're going to go down, why wouldn't you want to go down with your ace? I'm with you. I don't understand it. 95 pitches. What was one more hitter at least giving the opportunity? It wasn't like he had 5 walks and command was eluding him.
No.
3 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikes. I'm with you, buddy. 0.74 ERA. Sandy is back. This is a great start. They made the right call thus far by not trading him at the deadline last year. Big reason why Miami, at least a good start, 6-5. But the Reds, perfect 5-0 away from Great American Ballpark. They are now 8-3 atop, or at least continuing to keep pace with the Milwaukee Brewers.
You mentioned some of the aces. Skubal, not so good yesterday, at least for the Motor City Kitties in Minnesota. What about Paul Skeens? He looked like Paul Skeens again, went a little bit deeper in the game, Jensen. Is that just a natural progression here? Buccos, by the way, 7-4 after beating the Padres last night, of extending him a little bit longer as we get, into a third start of the year.
Yeah, only got the 2 runs of support, and then they put the finishing touches on it, a 5-run 8th inning to put it out of reach. So, 87 pitches, natural progression, very astute observation by you. That is where you were after, remember, only had that 2/3 of an inning from that first start. So didn't want to run him out for 100 pitches the next time. This is right where they need to be. Again, 6 punchies and 6 1/3, just the 2 hits allowed. The 1 home run there by Xander Bogaerts. So great job from Paul Skeens bouncing back after that tough opening day start.
And don't look now. Now you can look. Colorado Rockies have won 3 in a row. They're 5-6. They're tied for second place in the NL. The Colorado Rockies.
Over.
I mean, what?
Over 52.5. Come on.
Over. It's looking pretty darn good.